In 1960, John F. Kennedy and Richard Nixon participated in the first televised presidential debate. It was one of the most watched television events that year. And ever since then, watching politicians spar on TV has been one of the crucial aspects of any campaign season. But what if in 1960, either Kennedy or Nixon had just not even shown up? Can you have a good debate if one side of the candidacy is not there? How can newspapers talk about a political debate if the major candidate was not even present? And importantly, can a candidate win a debate by not showing up at all? Today I want us to look closely at the rhetoric in the Wall Street Journal editorial, A Very Good Presidential Debate. The editorial uses a series of examples from the first Republican presidential debate in 2023, with conclusions mostly coming at the end of the paragraphs and a heavy emphasis on instrumental values. I'm going to discuss the main claim, the first subclaim, the second subclaim, and the third subclaim. Let me start with the main claim of the editorial. The main claim is, quote, "The debate benefited enormously from Donald Trump's decision to stay away." It comes at the end of the editorial, and it's a claim of value because it uses the terms benefited enormously, which express judgment. After the intro to the editorial, the next 3 paragraphs are about Ron DeSantis. This ended in the first major subclaim of the editorial, which was, quote, "All of this made him," DeSantis, "look more poll-driven and afraid of Mr. Trump than the fearless leader he portrays himself to be." This is a value claim because of the words poll-driven, but also afraid and fearless, all of which are value terms. This claim is supported by a number of preceding examples, including ducking a question on a 15-week abortion ban, not raising his hands on voting for Trump if convicted, being, quote, coaxed into saying Pence did a good job, and dodging a question about aid to Ukraine. So even though the evidence is in the form of examples, the tone of the value of the editorial is very, very clear here. Dodging, ducking, and being coaxed are all negative instrumental values. And as stated in the subclaim, the editorial board is arguing DeSantis is afraid and using value-charged words to describe his actions. The editorial proceeds to discuss Vivek Ramaswamy. The editorial's second section deals with Ramaswamy, at first claiming, quote, "Vivek Ramaswamy is close to DeSantis in the polls, and he has the gift of energy and verbal facility." This is another claim of value because the gift of energy and verbal facility are words that express an opinion. And again, examples are used to support this. Vivek's appealing phrases and a one-liner about purpose are cited. However, the major subclaim of this section comes later when the editorial board argues, quote, "Vivek can also sound like a young man in too much of a hurry," which is another claim of value, as too much of a hurry invites judgment. It supports this major subclaim with a direct line from Vivek Ramaswamy. They say, quote, "I'm the only person on stage who isn't bought and paid for." And that wraps it up by calling him a, quote, "supercilious grad student." Once more, the values have come through here. In addition to the examples provided, the words hurry and supercilious, those impart negative instrumental values to the reader. After briefly discussing Chris Christie, the editorial board makes another major section, which is all about Mike Pence. The editorial makes its third subclaim, quote, "Former Vice President Mike Pence often seemed like the adult in the room." Again, the article mainly uses the discussion over Ukraine as an example for stating this, and they say, quote, "Mr. Pence was especially good in eviscerating the glib false choice between aiding Ukraine and controlling the southern border." I love the use of glib here, as once more the instrumental values are coming to play. This editorial had a lot of subclaims, and it uses a lot of examples. I've discussed the main claim, the first subclaim, the second subclaim, and the third subclaim, and pointed out the importance of instrumental values all the way through. Lucky for us, both Nixon and Kennedy did show up in 1960. The Wall Street Journal board wants us to evaluate the GOP candidates that did show up in August. Maybe we can have a good debate without the frontrunner present at all.